Greetings and welcome to Hexed Countered. I'm Joe. In this video, we are going to be completing the trio of kind of example of play videos for the game Infernal Machine, Dawn of Submarine Warfare, from GMT Games and designers at Ostermeyer and Jeremy White. Now, I've previously done all three of the tactical scenarios in the scenario booklet. Right, this guy right here. So video one had scenario 1, 2, and 3. Then I did scenario 5, the $100,000 example here. And today we're going to do this one, the scenario 10 mini campaign, which does have an example as well. And then depending on how everything goes, I may launch a campaign of my own playing as the US. I mean, most of these examples have been using the Confederates, but I think it would be fun to give this a shot on the Union side. So if I do a campaign video, I will do it featuring the Union side. The matter of this video is to break the head of passes. This is mini campaign. You can see they thank Steve Herron for the mini campaign. You can read the description here if you would like by just pausing the video for a moment to read it if you want to. The general thrust is that we need to help the city of New Orleans, which is being threatened by the Union, of course. The Union, of course, did, in fact, take New Orleans fairly early in the war. And the governor of Louisiana gives you a letter of marque, which is not the same as what you might think it is. It allows you to perform a non-training mission, thereby allowing your fish boat to move into a position with enemy eyes. So basically, this just gives you the ability to use, Confederate assets, ports, things like that, to take the war to the enemy without making you a member of the Confederate Navy, basically. You get that for free as a bonus in this mini campaign for being for being a new player, I guess, basically. So there are some special rules. The scenario or mini campaign uses the full campaign rules, but with 4 exceptions. New Orleans only. So this is the New Orleans mission board. This is our location. Okay, if we ever see the mission board in this, which we may not, we would obviously use this. I believe this is mostly campaign stuff, so we'll probably skip anything that goes on the mission board or tactical board. There is a New Orleans location card. The locations are here. These are all the locations you can play in as on the CSA side: Selma, Norfolk, Mobile, Charleston, Natchez, Richmond, and Petersburg. The Union has their own, of course. You cannot change your location. So your location for the entirety of the game is New Orleans. You are here to help protect the city, hopefully by delaying the inevitable Union invasion and takeover of the city. The game ends when the New Orleans location card is removed from play. This will happen either as a Fortunes of War result or an event. Outcomes. Typically, when you run a campaign, there's in the not the cyclopedia. You do it in the it's in the almanac. That's what it's called. Both sides have an almanac, a CSA almanac and a USA almanac, which includes outcomes for the various campaigns and such. And you would not use that for this specific special one, because instead we're going to refer to the objective and outcome section of the scenario book here. And variant, this is the newbie rule, which is what I just mentioned. To ease the new player into the campaign system, Governor Moore grants you a letter of marque. Yeah, the designers realized the letter of marque was traditionally shield against prosecution should a crew and captain be nabbed by the enemy for piracy. In Infernal Machine, we use it more broadly as consent by local authorities for you to access the battlefield while enjoying local assets of dock, signals for clear passage, and whatever modest support might be granted your crew and their peculiar vessel. Okay, our victory conditions. Excellent if we destroy an enemy ship, and so on, and don't lose your ship or have to abandon it. If that happens after you destroy an enemy ship, your result's downgraded to good. Good is damaging an enemy ship and you do not suffer a lost resort or abandoned ship. Fair, you damaged an enemy ship but suffered a lost result. Poor, you neglected to even damage an enemy ship, but at least you did not suffer a lost result, nor did you abandon ship. Congratulations, sir, you avoided a Union prison camp. And dismal, you suffered a lost result and failed to damage an enemy ship. A valiant effort. So the game will not last beyond the summer of 1862 turns. So that gives us 5 turns basically, because we're going to start in spring of 1861. I need to put markers on there, which I'm not done yet. So we're going to get started here. So the first thing, let me put these cubes out first. So we are in 1861. This is your gauges board, which is your main thing that you're going to use during the campaign when you're not, on a mission, or the tactical part comes as part of a mission. So this is kind of your lab, your manufacturing facility, whatever you want to consider it. That's the center of your business effort here to build the fish boat. So you've got a funds area, you've got your contracts area at the top. These are the cards for people you can recruit: investors, mechanics, journeymen, and sailors. There's a spot underneath that I forget what they call it, but it's kind of like a shop. I think that's what they call it, the shop. So right now I'm tightened in on here because we don't need to show the shop yet. There's nothing there yet, but there will be soon. First thing we're going to do is draw 3 investor cards. So I'm just going to pick this up and do 1, 2, 3. And then you get to pick one and the other 2 get recycled. So we have Alexander Colley. He's a $20 investor and $1 each mechanic each winter. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2 is pretty good and looks like he's going to get the nod here. We've got he's got the steering ability and the repair ability. He's a $15 investor, so slightly worse, and $5 each winter. And you can see he's got a couple of marks on here for various things. We'll talk about that when they come up. And then there's R.W. Dunn, who's clearly the worst of these guys probably, although he gives you an extra action. He's a $5 investor, and you get $5 extra dollars every winter. So the example of play gives us the word that we are to select Dr. Wilkinson. So the arm, that's his strength rating. If he becomes a member of the crew, he provides 1 strength for cranking. With his skill set, he is a good candidate to become part of the crew. Okay, so he gives us $15 funds. You track your funds here. So you have a 10 counter, which would go on the 1, and a 5 counter, or a 1 counter rather, which goes on the 5. So we have 15 in the bank at the moment. Now we have to roll a die for Fortunes of War. We get a 2, and gives us 2 section boat tiles for free and without having to satisfy expertise requirements, and we'll have to put them in the shop. So I'm going to zoom out a bit now and reset my shot, because now we're going to start putting our building our boat and moving towards actually being able to put it to use. Okay, so here are our 2 sections that we get for free. You can see right here is their typical cost of $4. Okay, we're going to put them, I'm just going to set them right here for now. We need a prow and a stern as well, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. So now our first action, the player is going to recruit a mechanic. So that's this stack right here. New Orleans allows 1 mechanic. They deduct 1 action from the 3 they're allowed this season and get, actions. Don't want to forget that. Okay, so this will cost us 1 action, and we'll draw a card. You draw 1 and you have to keep it. And in this case, that is William Alexander. You can see he's got the ability to operate a mechanism. He has the repair and the steering, and he's got 2 strength. So he's actually a pretty solid guy for us here, and he costs $8. Okay, so with that, we've spent, we spent 8, so this would go to 0, and this becomes 7. So we have $7 left. For their second action, they're going to seek more money, so we're going to perform an investment check. Wait a second, how much? Wait, player selects, okay, I missed a part here at the beginning. So I didn't talk about this, but here on the card, okay, you get an extra action this season, and we get an extra $8. So we have, in fact, 15 left after paying for Alexander, and the investment check costs $15, and we roll for this. And there is an investment table. It is located on our player aid. You can see here we rolled a 7. So the die roll is here. Funds invested was 15. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 10. 15. So we garner $20 in investment. So that's a $5 profit, basically. So now we are on $20. That was our second action. For our final action, we are going to build, and we're going to look for the cheapest prow, of course, the prow being the front of the boat. And so these are the tiles, right? So you have your prows, and you can see the costs of the 3 prows here. The rest are sterns and another section. So you can spend 4 for the snub, 10 for the sturdy, or 8 for the chisel. Obviously, sturdy would be the best, but we're going to go cheap here and go for the snub prow with the little point on it. So that's going to be the prow of our fish boat. I'm just going to stick it right here for now. You'll be able to see the whole boat, hopefully. I can move the mission board kind of out of the way a little bit more there to give us some extra room. So we've got, we select the steep, for the last action they build, the cheapest prow, which costs 20. I mean, it costs 7, so that leaves us with 13. Okay, and that was our last action. In the same action, they also purchased the propeller. So you can purchase multiple things. So our propeller, this is the propeller. Okay, so we're going to have that as well. I'm just going to stick that right there for the moment because we don't have anywhere to put it. That leaves them with $1 because this cost $6, as you can see. And that gives leaves us with a single dollar, one buck, one sawbuck, and we're going to use that to purchase keel weights. So you do need keel weights as well, and I have to find them. Here is a keel weight, and it costs $1. Okay, now if you're wondering what the little one there inside the looks like a circular saw blade, that is expertise. I believe required expertise for these sections. You can see the snub prow has a 4, the 2 sections are 2s, the keel weight's 1, and the propeller is 5. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next phase of the turn, which is the time phase. So we have to check for an event, and for that we use our CSA Almanac. Right, so you see here, Fortunes of War, and this is an event table, right? And you got your 1 through 10, and then there are some contracts and so on. This is in the CSA Almanac. The USA also has its own almanac, right? Because you're allowed to play either side. You can actually, I believe, change sides during the war, during the game. But in this particular instance, of course, we are not going to do this. So they gain, according to this, the event is they gain $5. So that would be a 4 or 5 result. Investor repudiates their debt to northern creditors, gain $5. So we're going to gain $5. We'll move this up to 5. We spent that last dollar. I forgot to take it down. So we have $5 as we go into the next. So at the end of, and we did pick up a black cube, which the investor has on his card. I forgot to do that. You can see the black cube here. He provides us with a black cube, so I'm going to put that in there. Okay, he also gives us 1 expertise, and Alexander gives us 2, which is a total of 5. Our total strength is a 3. And they're both capable men, although Alexander is a really capable guy. He's got all 3 skills, basically. And then it's showing that we have a blunt stern. Oh, they select the cheapest prow and stern. All right, I misread. That's on me. So we are looking for the blunt stern. Here it is. Okay, so we do have our blunt stern as well. There we go. So our fish boat is, put a propeller on there. You can see the weight as well, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, and 3 more is, this should actually be a 2. I put the wrong section on there. It should be this one. It's only 2. So it matters, and you need to pay attention, which I did not, apparently. All right, so this one has a weight on it, and the weight is to help us, obviously, submerge, which is the key function of the fish boat. All right, so our immediate goal is to make our fish boat seaworthy. So we're going to need a steering link and a hatch for that. They could use a mechanism, or we could use a mechanism allowing the fish boat to dive below shallow. So we really should get a ballast tank and a level tank. Money is tight. Okay, so we're going to move to summer. And in summer, we earn $9 thanks to our, right here, you see $9. $9 thanks to our New Orleans card. So that's going to give us a total of 14. So now we're going to roll a die for our Fortunes of War, which is on, oh, wait a minute. It's on page 2. The event was on page 2. Okay. So I missed that, but I found something that gave us $5 anyway. All right. So I did look at the right page, by the way, having confirmed. This is page 3, summer of 1861. We rolled a 4, I think it said. Yep, a 4. So Manassas Junction is still in Confederate hands. The tire and Lincoln effigy burned too well and nearly spoiled the victory celebration. Drunken revelers left the rally at the courthouse steps with singed hats or worse. We're going to roll a die. If the number rolled is even, add a black cube to the fate pool. Just a good bit of patriotism, sir. The price of liberty. If odd, randomly select one persona and move them to sickbay. Well, guess what? We roll a 5. And that means that we have to shuffle these 2 guys together and randomly pick somebody. And the lucky one who got hurt at the celebration is Dr. Wilkinson. Put him here, which has sickbay. You can see it says even, cured, 1 dead. So when we get to the time phase, we will be rolling to see if we can get him out of sickbay and hopefully not have him end up dead. That would be bad. Okay, so we have 2 actions this season. And we're going to recruit on our first action, selecting a mechanic. Okay, so we're going to draw another mechanic card, and we get Thomas Smith. As you can see, it's pretty good. Iron nerves, mechanism operator, and repair ability. Only 1 strength, so not a burly fellow. A little bit of expertise. He gives us a black cube and costs $7. Okay, so we spent $7, leaving us with $7. And then we will do a contract action. Now, what the contract action is you see up here, well, it's a little small, but this is a $5 contract marker, okay? On the back is the number of expertise you need to apply to actually get it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take these 2 fine gentlemen, our 2 mechanics, Smith and Alexander. Their combined expertise, 2 and 2, is 4. So we put them up here because they're working on the contract. And the contract itself goes 3 seasons ahead, which would be 1, 2, 3, and that would be spring of 62. So I think we place this on here. Okay. So for the contract, like I said, we assign Alexander and Smith to the $5 contract. We place the contract marker 3 seasons ahead and the 2 mechanics in the contract slot at the top of the gauges board. So we've done that. Now we go to the time phase because we spent both of our actions. Player checks sick bay. So we have to check the sick bay and then the event. So we're going to check Wilkinson by rolling our die, and we got a 2. And that means he is healed and can return to the shop. So he's back in the shop. And then we have to check an event, and we roll a 7, which means build actions next season, gobble 2 actions instead of 1. And that again comes from our events. Yeah, see, There's your event, a great battle in Virginia, right? That would be first Bull Run or Manassas, as you, depending on your side. I guess in our case, it would be Manassas. If located elsewhere, roll a die. If 1, increase the price gauges by 1. If 2 to 10, a build action next season costs 2 actions instead of 1. So next season, it's going to cost us 2 actions instead of 1. That's great. Well, not. All right, so now we're going to move to autumn. And the shop earns another $8, as we see right there. So that gives us 15. Yes, and so we end up with 20 total because of the $5 from the contract. So the contract will expire in 3 months or 3 seasons, but we get $5 each season until it's over. So they were doing contract work. We're going to earn a little cash, $15 total. Okay. Now we have to roll a die for the Fortunes of War, which is now on page 4 because we've reached autumn of 1861. Okay, and the die roll is a 5. So local vigilance committee snoops around looking for incendiaries, a person who tampers with enslaved servants by feeding them abolitionist ideas. Roll a die. If number rolled is even, they find nothing and leave. You make an alert check. If odd, randomly choose a persona and remove him from play. Oof. They beat him, tar and feather him, and run him out of town. Well, we don't want to get an odd result in that case, right? We roll a 6, according to the book, which means that we just have to perform an alert check. Now, an alert check is somewhat similar to what we did with the, I have to find it on the player aid card, which is right here. So you have alert check here at the bottom. And how many persona cards you have. We have 3. And the die roll, according to the booklet, is a 6, which is no result. Our alert level stays at a 0. So alert level in this case kind of means like how aware the enemy is of your actions. Okay, so we get 2 actions in the autumn, and we're going to use our first one to recruit some journeymen. Now you get to pick 4, and you can keep or discard them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are the guys we got. We got Michael Caine, not the famous British actor. Nicholas Davis. He's got some good crew ability there. Frank Doyle and Charles Hasker. Okay, so 2, 4, 7, 8 total is the cost, and we're going to keep all of them. So I'm just going to kind of put them down here on the bottom. They're, as we need them, I'll pull them back up so you can see them, but I kind of like the size of what we're showing here right now. So we spent $8 from 20. That gives us a total of 12 remaining. Okay, now we're going to risk 10 of that on an investment check, which would leave us with $2, at least for the moment. So again, we go to the investment table. We're in the $10 column. We rolled a 2. Actually, no, it says a 3, right? We roll a 3, which gives us $9 back. So we actually lost $1 on that particular endeavor. Not great, but it is what it is. So now we go to the next phase here, and we're gonna, that ends, right? We spent both events, or both actions rather. So conclude the campaign turn by checking the event in the CSA Almanac, right? It necessitates a die roll, and it's a 1. Okay, whoops, get that in a moment. Okay, so here is our event, the U.S. Navy seizure of Confederate diplomats Mason and Slidell from the British merchantman Trent has rumors coming thick and fast. Newspapers hint that British recognition of the Confederacy is imminent. We're going to roll a die, and we got a 1. So noisy diplomatic posturing and spirited rallies portside, but nothing substantial results. We have no effect. All right, no. Okay, so we conclude our turn with $11. Now we're going to earn $7 for the shop as we go to the winter. Yep, 7 for the shop, right? $7 in winter gives us 18. And 5 for the contract gives us 23. And $5 for Wilkinson, $5 each winter listed on his card there. So that gives us 28. All right, so now we have to roll a die for the fortunes of war. Okay, so you can see here, just to kind of give you the full page view, this side is the event, and you see down here the event. And then this is the winter fortunes of war. And each season has its own, right? So kind of gives you the historical drip of what's going on as we move through things. And for this one, we are going to roll a 10, which is not good in this case. We've basically, it's the Monitor and the Virginia, or the former Merrimack, and Norfolk is captured. So we would remove Norfolk's location card. If your location is Norfolk, you must either change sides immediately or change location to Petersburg is the only action permitted this season. If not in Norfolk, increase the prices gauge by 1. So the prices gauge here, and this is only on the Confederate side, reflects the effect of the Union blockade, which brought massive havoc on the Confederacy's economy. So that just represents inflation, basically. All right, moving on here. Now we have 2 actions. So let's reset that. For our first, we will choose to build, and we will do so with an expertise of 5. Okay, now how do we get to 5? So this is where things get interesting, I think. You've got 3 here on the shop. Okay, 3 there, and Doyle and Wilkerson. Doyle is our only journeyman who has expertise. Wilkerson also has 1. So that gives us 3 plus 1 plus 1, of course, being 5 expertise. The player selects 3 mechanisms and the cost is $18, but the prices gauge is plus 1, so that adds $1 for each part. So the total cost is 21, which will leave us with just $7. The highest expertise requirement is 5, which is just barely satisfied, and we add the parts to our fish boat. Okay, and the 3 parts we bought are a steering link, which costs $10, requiring 5 expertise. That goes on our prow. Then a ballast tank, also requiring 5 expertise and costing $5. That's going to go, oh wait, no, the steering link goes back here. This goes on the front. Sorry about that. It says prow right on it. And then the hatch costs $3 for expertise. That is going to go here. You can also choose there, but we're going to put it here. So back in this 3rd section, we've got our steering link and our keel weight. Now our dollars remaining is just 7, so we'll just reflect that there. Now we're going to arrange our personae, which is our crew, basically. Hoping we can create a viable crew, we're going to compare the combined strength to the fish boat's weight, which is the combined weight of all its boat tiles and mechanisms. So our crewmen, and we're going to choose, let's see, we've got, we're going to go with Hasker, Wilkerson, and Davis, because of his iron nerves, and Michael Caine, because of his 2 strength. So you can see here, Caine is 2, Davis is 1, that's 3, Wilkerson's 1, 4, Wilkinson, I should say, and Hasker is a 2. So that gives us a total of 6. Now, I'm going to have to adjust my shot here. The only one not a member of the crew is Frank Doyle, and of course our 2 mechanics who are off on contract duty. Okay, so that's a total strength of 6. So I'm just going to sit these guys right here for the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got a total weight of 9, which means we're down on the E on our power grade. Right here, you can see there's a chart that actually strength divided by weight equals power grade. And it's on page 21 in the rule book. I won't go into that right now. You can take my word for it, it's E. It's obviously less than the weight, so you are definitely pulling upstream, so to speak. None of the crewmen has a mechanical skill, which means nobody can operate the ballast tank. Looking to perform a mission to increase the training level, the player knows the fish boat must dive to below, so this boat and her crew are not ready. If this were a full campaign, the player could afford to be patient, but there are only 1 or 2 seasons left, so they decide to break the contract to release the 2 mechanics. Their second action this season will be a mission. So we're going to take this off. Contract is over. And we're going to grab our 2 mechanics, and we're going to reshuffle our crew. So we're going to put both mechanics in the crew, and we're going to ditch. Our crew is now going to be Smith, Kane, Davis, and Alexander. Okay. Okay, Smith, right? Smith, Kane. So 2. This guy's Mr. Skill Set. He's got 2 strength. Then we've got Davis, who has iron nerves and repair skill. And the last one we have is our other mechanic, William Alexander, who has the steering skill. So that's what we need. And that means Dr. Wilkinson, along with Hasker and Doyle, can hang back at the shop. All right. So we're going to attempt to do a mission here. So that would be our second action here. And because we have people now who have the mechanical skill, they can operate the ballast tank, which is sitting right there in the prow. Okay. Okay. Strength is less than weight. The power grade is E, but the player hopes 2 iron nerves will help keep the fish boat operating. It's a gamble performing a mission now, but time's running short. Fatigue will be a problem since strain will likely be the most common crank intensity. So to perform the mission action, the player declares it a training mission. We have to run it on the New Orleans mission board. And so they roll dice to set it up. This is the board after all nautical conditions have been determined. We have dim visibility, weak drift intensity, and our atmospherics is mist. And you can see the markers on the sheet here. We're not going to actually use the mission board, just as we in the mission board did not use the tactical board. Okay, so the mission ended with a lost result during the navigation phase. Fortunately, all crewmen escaped, and since the fish boat was in the beaver station position, none were captured because there were no enemy eyes. Player replaces the fish boat marker with the wreck marker and performs the wreck sequence. 1 crewman was fatigued and panicked, so he goes to sick bay while the others return to the shop. Okay, so Davis got a panic, and he's going to end up with a trip to the sick bay, and then we would move on to the event phase here. So let me take care of this. So where is he? Davis, right? Davis goes to sick bay. And let's do I should just rearrange some of this. So we'll put Wilkinson here, and I'll put my 2 mechanics perhaps with him. Since it's all on screen, you can see it. And you can see all the people we have here, including Mr. Davis. Okay, so we're going to go to the event, which is on page 5 here. Okay, the event is the Confederate Congress establishes the Bureau of Subsistence. You may secure any 1 contract offered in previous seasons. Also, you may cancel 1 or more contracts you already have without penalty. So now we have to check for Davis here, and unfortunately for him, we roll a 1, which means he's dead. So Nicholas Davis is removed from play. Okay, now we go to the Fortunes of War for spring of 1862. And unfortunately, rolling a 7, while at the telegraph office, you learn disturbing news. The Crescent City has fallen. So New Orleans is gone. The game is over. Now, in the walkthrough, they let you kind of extend it a little bit. It's just two notes talking about kind of how you rebuild your boat and everything. But in the end, even those actions don't actually allow you to actually perform another mission. So you end up losing, and the outcome of this particular mini campaign is dismal. So you can see, I mean, this is a tough situation. You only have a year or so, to actually pull this off, and odds were stacked against us, and it didn't work. Okay, so that is going to wrap this one up. I thank you for watching. Quick shout out to my channel members. Appreciate you guys backing the channel, supporting it. I say it every time, but I really mean it. I appreciate the support. For everyone else, thanks for watching. If you are interested in seeing me do a USA campaign, post some comments, give it a like. The more likes and more positive comments they are, the better the chance I'll do it. I'm not going to put a number on it. Just, if you guys really want to see it, hopefully enough of you will say so and indicate that by liking this video. And if that all happens to my satisfaction, I'll do it. I'm probably going to play it anyway. But like I've said before, it's a lot easier for me to just play the game without doing video. Where I have to stop and explain stuff, and it just takes longer, and I digress, and it's just a big to-do. Anyway, we're done. Thanks for watching. Like I said, consider commenting, liking, sharing, hyping, or possibly even becoming a subscriber if you are already not a subscriber, or not already a subscriber, I guess is the right way to say that. If you are, thank you for that. I appreciate it. But we're done. I'm Joe. This is Hexed Countered, and until next time, as always, happy gaming.